The first crack appeared at 9:17 a.m. No one noticed it. Not the journalists adjusting their cameras, not the investors refreshing their stock apps, and certainly not Arjun Mehra, standing beneath blinding white lights, smiling like a man who believed he had mastered the future. But if you looked closely, you would have seen it. The crack wasn't in the screen behind him. It wasn't in the code. It was in his certainty. Pause. Let the silence hang. Pride doesn't announce itself. It builds a throne and quietly removes. 10 years earlier, he had nothing. A secondhand laptop, instant noodles for dinner, 4 hours of sleep. Back then, he listened more than he spoke. He asked questions. He accepted correction. Back then, he was hungry. Success arrived like a monsoon, sudden, overwhelming, relentless. Investors lined up, cameras flashed, headlines called him a visionary. By 35, his name was carved into steel in a glass tower that touched the clouds. And slowly, quietly, confidence became pride. They stopped warning him. Not because the dangers disappeared, but because It's too fast, Mehra warned. We haven't tested the system properly. Arjun barely looked up. We'll fix it as we grow. The room fell silent. He no longer saw caution as wisdom. He saw it as weakness. That's the moment the music changed. He just didn't notice. And what if we're wrong? Raghav asked softly. The city glowed behind glass walls. Arjun leaned back in his leather chair. I'm not. 3 simple words. The moment humility left the room. When you start believing your own press releases, you've already lost the plot. 5, 4, 3. The world held its breath. 2, 1. The stage exploded with light. Today, Arjun declared proudly, we introduce the future. For 12 hours, it seemed he was. The applause roared like thunder. He absorbed it. Every cheer, every camera flash. For 12 glorious hours, he felt unstoppable, untouchable, unbreakable. The highest peaks have the thinnest air, and the longest. At 9:17 p.m., thousands of miles away, a cybersecurity analyst noticed something strange. Red lines where green should have been. She marked the email, urgent. The breach had already begun. The fall was already in motion. He just didn't know. At 9:32 p.m., 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 began leaking private data. At 9:41 p.m., hackers found the weakness. And by 10:03, the world found out. Hashtag Synapse breach was everywhere. Servers crashed, systems failed. The future he promised became a nightmare he couldn't control. Massive data leak? Was the product rushed? Executives ignored warnings. Warned. That word echoed louder than applause ever had. The same media that once crowned him now carved his epitaph.
"We could have delayed," Raghav said quietly. 3 months. Arjun said nothing. "You stopped listening," Raghav continued. "Not just to me, to everyone." The envelope touched the desk, and the door closed behind him. That wasn't just a resignation. That was the sound of the last bridge. The glass tower felt different now. Not like a monument, like a mirror. Investors disappeared. Employees left quietly. And for the first time in years, Arjun heard silence. Silence is the only language pride understands. When it's too... He replayed every warning, every concerned look. He hadn't fallen because he lacked intelligence. He had fallen because he believed he couldn't. Pride doesn't shout. The next office was smaller. No flashing lights, no thunderous applause. Just a whiteboard and 12 people willing to try again. "I think there's a flaw," a young developer said. Arjun nodded. "Show me." And this time, he listened. Humility isn't weakness. It's the foundation you build on. "I once believed I couldn't fail," he told the students. The room was silent. Confidence builds dreams, but pride builds downfalls. He stepped forward. Pride goes before a fall, and the higher you climb, the harder you land. The applause that followed was not thunderous. It was thoughtful, respectful. Because this time, he was not a man intoxicated by success. He was a man shaped by failure.
I didn't find success
And
by playing it
that
safe.
made all the difference.
I found it by believing in what seemed
The
impossible.
greatest lesson isn't
So
how
please,
to rise.
never be afraid
It's
to
how
fail.
to survive the fall.